Hey everyone, Joshua Ward, your native Lowcountry realtor here in Beaufort, South Carolina. Welcome to the next episode of the Lowcountry Market Update. Today we're going to be covering some market stats from the past 2 weeks within the Beaufort area. As well, our education content is going to cover market stats from 2018 until 2023 to give a snapshot of how everything has been progressing, along with an event of the week. So let's get started. Our current inventory within the Beaufort market is going to be 583 homes. We have had 101 new listings come on within the past 2 weeks. 78 homes have gone under contract. 63 homes have closed. Our absorption rate has increased a couple days to 80 days. This is due to the closings being a little bit lower than our new listings that have come onto the market. So that means there's a little bit more inventory now to work with. Our average price from the past 2 weeks is going to be $573,822, and the average price per square foot is going to be $328 per square foot. Our education content is going to be a little in depth today, so if you have any questions while going through, please feel free to reach out. So it is going to cover the total sales, the average price, the days on market, average interest rate, as well as the property appreciation between each year going all the way back to 2018. So as we can see, starting out with 2018, we had 2,054 sales total. Our average price sold was $295,196. We had 147 days on market for our average, as well as a 4.54% interest rate. As we progress to 2019, we can see that a little bit more sales that year, so 2,235. Our average price went up to $299,392. That is going to be that 1.67% appreciation increase. Prior to COVID and the low interest rate boom that we had, property value only really increased between like 2 to 4% a year. So that was within average, a little bit lower than kind of what we were used to. The average interest rate for 2019 was 3.94%. So we're starting to notice that steady decline coming from 2018. As we go from 2019 to 2020, that's when we start to see a lot more significant changes. So the total sales went up from 2,200 to 2,746 going into 2020. The average price sold is going to be $341,220, which is going to be an increase of 12.26% from the previous year. A lot higher than what we had been used to up until that point. This could be attributed to COVID in the early, around second quarter of 2020. A lot of people moving into the southeast, a lot of people migrating, to more relaxed tax areas, increasing or the time frame for their retirement, moving a little bit quicker. So our average days on market during that time frame, 147, still fairly similar to 2019, but we can see that the average interest rate for that year dropped down to 3.1%, which at that time was one of the lowest that we've seen. As we look at 2021, we can see that the total sales jumped from about 2,700 up to 3,338, as well as the average price sold went from 341,220 to 395,504. That's going to be a 13.73% increase. Pretty significant, very similar to the previous year. Going into it being used to only 2 to 4% appreciation, 13 was pretty significant during that time frame. Days on market also dropped from 147 to 96, as well as our average interest rate dropped from 3.1 to 2.96. This was around the peak of our market, the very heavy seller's market. This was that time frame where you would go and submit an offer on the house and you could potentially go up against multiple offers. This was also the time frame the houses were going above asking, contingency waived, things of that nature. As we jump from 2021 into 2022, we can see that the total sales went down a little bit, so from 3,338 to 2,750. During the beginning of the year, I think we were on track to be on par with 2021 numbers, but third quarter of 2022 was whenever interest rates started to increase, which I believe curbed demand and kind of curtailed that number a little bit. But that did not have as much an effect on price. As we can see, the average price sold for 2021 was $395,504, and that bumps up to $473,210. So that was a 16.42% increase. So if we look at the numbers between 2020, 2021, and 2022, that's almost a 40% increase just within those 3 years for real estate. The days on market also decreased from 96 to 80, and as we can see, the interest rate, though, on average did increase from 2.96 to 5.34. The beginning of that year, during the peak spring months, we're holding, that low interest rate section, which caused a lot of demand. So we were still in that tight market. But then around August, September of 2022 is whenever we saw those interest rate increases happen. The market still stayed strong just because we had low inventory and still had demand. But that was when stuff started, questioning a little bit on kind of how the market was going to progress. Going from 2022 into 2023, the average price sold went from $473,000 up to $505,000. So going from 16.42 to 6.41. However, that 6.41 is still fairly significant because as we can see back in 2019, it was only 1.67. So we're still triple what it was prior to that COVID boom that happened. Total sales decreased, so they went from 2,750 to 2,305. The days on market increased a little bit from 80 to 103, kind of expected with demand decreasing and then a little bit more inventory coming back on with interest rates. And we can see right here, the interest rates went from 5.34% up to 7.15%. So as we know right now, with the absorption rate being 80 days, we're still in a strong seller's market. It's just not as competitive as what we felt during that 2021, early 2022 season. So going into 2023, you still have options to buy with the appreciation leveling out a little bit. You're not dealing as much with, home prices kind of getting so far out of the realm of purchasability, but that's kind of offset by how high your interest rate is. So your mortgage payment might not necessarily change, but home values aren't increasing at the scale that they were within the past 2 years. So moving forward, people are expecting rates to kind of curtail a little bit and come back down. But as of right now, we're still in a fairly strong seller's market. We're only at like 2.5 months of inventory. For it to even out and be in between a seller and buyer's market is around 6 months. So we'll see how this off season does going into the spring market of 2024. Last thing we're going to cover today is the event of the week. So we are going to have the Beaufort Home for the Holiday Tour that is coming up. That is going to be November 17th, 18th, and 19th. So November 17th actually has a candlelight tour that you're able to do in the evening. That's going to take place from 5:30 to 7:30. November 18th and 19th are Saturday and Sundays. Those are going to be morning and afternoon tours and is going to be located on Distant Island. To be able to find the information for purchasing tickets, you're going to go to BeaufortHomeForTheHolidays.com, and they'll have information related to the tours as well as your ability to purchase tickets along with pricing. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our page and we're happy to refer you to their webpage. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch the Lowcountry Market Update. We'll see you in 2 weeks.